Ever wondered how to perfectly cook a steak at home? Today, we're going to demystify the process and explore 5 different methods to prepare that juicy, tender steak you've been craving. Cooking steak isn't just about heat and meat. It's an art that requires precision and knowledge. From grilling to sous vide, each method has its own charm, unlocking unique flavors and textures that make a steak truly delectable. Ready to become a steak master? Let's dive in. Starting with a classic, grilling. This method is all about harnessing the power of direct heat. The first step, and one that's often overlooked, is preheating the grill. This is critical because a properly heated grill sears the steak on contact, locks in the juices, and creates a savory crust. It's the difference between a steak that's simply cooked and one that's truly grilled. Now, while your grill is heating up, let's talk about seasoning. A good steak doesn't need much. Just a generous sprinkle of salt and pepper on each side will do. The salt draws out the moisture from the steak, which helps form that delicious crust we talked about earlier. Pepper, on the other hand, adds a bit of spice and complexity to the flavor profile. Once your grill is hot and your steak is seasoned, it's time to get cooking. Place the steak on the grill and leave it undisturbed for a few minutes. This allows the grill to sear the steak, creating that sought-after crust. After a few minutes, flip the steak and repeat the process on the other side. But how long should you cook your steak? Well, that depends on how you like your steak done. For a rare steak, aim for about 2 minutes on each side. If you prefer medium rare, go for around 3 to 4 minutes per side. For medium, you're looking at 5 to 7 minutes, and for well done, 8 to 10 minutes should do the trick. Keep in mind that these times are just guidelines. The exact cooking time can vary based on the thickness of your steak and the heat of your grill. So it's always a good idea to use a meat thermometer to ensure your steak is cooked to your preferred level of doneness. Grilling imparts a unique smoky flavor to the steak, a taste that's difficult to replicate with any other cooking method. It's a simple, straightforward method that, when done right, can yield a flavorful, juicy steak with a perfect crust. And that's how you grill steak to perfection. Scene script. Next up, pan-searing, a method beloved by chefs worldwide. So, how exactly do we pan-sear a steak to perfection? It all starts with the pan. You'll want to use a heavy-bottomed pan like a cast iron skillet and heat it over medium-high heat. The heavier the pan, the better it retains heat, which is crucial for a good sear. Now, while our pan is heating up, let's talk about the steak. You'll want to pat it dry with a paper towel to remove any excess moisture. This is key because moisture can prevent the steak from getting that beautiful golden brown crust that we're after. Once the pan is nice and hot, it's time to add a bit of oil. You'll want to use an oil with a high smoke point like grapeseed or canola oil. Let that heat up until it's shimmering but not smoking. Now the moment of truth. Carefully lay your steak in the heated pan. You should hear a satisfying sizzle. That's the sound of a good sear in the making. Let the steak cook undisturbed for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side for a medium rare finish. You'll know it's time to flip when the steak easily releases from the pan. As the steak sears, it develops a crust, a result of the Maillard reaction, a chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars. This is where the magic happens. That crust is packed with flavor and gives the steak a distinct mouth-watering appearance. Pan-searing also allows for flexibility in flavoring. You can add herbs, garlic, or butter to the pan during the last few minutes of cooking, basting the steak with these aromatic flavors. Moreover, pan-searing is not only about creating a beautiful crust, it also helps to lock in the juices, ensuring your steak is tender and juicy. But remember, every good steak deserves a good rest. After pan-searing, let your steak rest for 5 to 10 minutes before slicing. This allows the juices to redistribute throughout the steak, making every bite as delicious as possible. Pan-searing, a simple method with impressive results. Let's move on to broiling, a less common but equally delicious method. Now, broiling is a bit like grilling in reverse. Instead of the heat coming from below, it comes from above. This method is perfect for those who crave that charred exterior and juicy interior, but don't have an outdoor grill. First things first, you'll want to position your oven rack. The ideal position for broiling steak is about 4 to 6 inches from the heat source. This allows the steak to cook evenly without getting too close and risking a burn. Next, preheat your broiler. This is a crucial step, as it ensures that your steak will start cooking the moment it hits the oven. Preheating also helps to create that beautiful caramelized crust we all love. Most ovens will have a broil setting, but if yours doesn't, just crank it up to the highest temperature. Now on to the steak itself. Season your steak to taste, then place it on a broiling pan. Pop your steak in the oven and let the broiler work its magic. Depending on the thickness of your steak, you'll want to broil it for about 4 minutes per side for medium rare. If you prefer your steak a bit more well done, give it an extra minute or two on each side. One of the great benefits of broiling is the intense heat. This high temperature seals in the juices, ensuring your steak is flavorful and moist. Plus, broiling is a quick cooking method, perfect for those nights when you're short on time but still want a high-quality meal. And there you have it, your broiled steak, complete with a crispy crust and a tender, juicy interior. It's a simple method, but it delivers on flavor and texture. So the next time you're craving a steak, why not give broiling a try? Broiling, a hidden gem in the steak cooking world. After all, who said you need a grill to get that perfect steak? With broiling, you can achieve the same delicious results right in your own kitchen. Now for something a bit more modern, sous vide. Sous vide, the French term for under vacuum, is a cooking method that's gained popularity in recent years, especially with steak enthusiasts. It's all about precision, and it starts with vacuum sealing the steak. Imagine taking your favorite cut of beef, seasoning it just the way you like, and then sealing it in a plastic bag. You're not just locking in the flavors, but you're setting the stage for a cooking process that's unlike any other. Once your steak is sealed up tight, it's ready for the water bath. But this isn't just any water bath. In sous vide cooking, you'll use a special device to set the water to the exact temperature you want your steak to reach. No guesswork, no poking, no cutting into the meat to see if it's done. You simply set the temperature, and the water does the rest. Let's say you want your steak medium rare. You'd set the water bath to around 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Place your vacuum-sealed steak into the water and let it cook. Because the water is set to the temperature you want the steak to reach, you won't overcook it. It's that precise. Now, sous vide does take longer than traditional methods. A steak might need up to 2 hours in the water bath. But remember, you're not babysitting a grill or a stovetop. You're free to do other things while the water bath does its work. Once your steak has reached the perfect temperature inside and out, you're not quite done yet. To get that beautiful, appetizing sear, you'll finish the steak in a hot pan, just for a minute or two on each side. This gives you the best of both worlds, the precise, even cooking of sous vide and the flavorful, caramelized sear of a hot pan. Sous vide gives you control like no other cooking method. It's a high-tech approach that can give you a perfect steak every time. Whether you're a seasoned chef or a home cook looking to try something new, sous vide is worth exploring. Sous vide, a high-tech approach to perfect steak. Finally, let's explore reverse searing, a method that flips the script. Picture this, a steak cooked to perfection, evenly done from edge to edge with a tantalizingly crisp crust. This is the magic of reverse searing. So how does it work? First, we start with slow roasting our steak in the oven. This is a gentle process, a symphony of heat and time that allows the steak to cook evenly all the way through. No more guessing games, no more undercooked centers or overcooked edges. Once our steak has reached the desired internal temperature, we let it rest. This pause is crucial, giving the meat time to reabsorb its juices and settle into its perfect doneness. Now it's time for the grand finale. We heat a pan until it's smoking hot, then we place our rested steak onto the sizzling surface. The high heat instantly forms a delicious caramelized crust, sealing in the steak's succulent juices. This searing process is swift, ensuring that the interior of the steak stays wonderfully tender and juicy. The benefits of reverse searing are undeniable. It gives you control over the doneness of your steak and guarantees a mouth-watering crust every time. Plus, it removes the stress of timing everything perfectly. So, next time you're cooking steak, why not give reverse searing a try? It's a method that's sure to impress, whether you're a seasoned chef or a kitchen novice. Reverse searing, a game changer in steak cooking. So, there you have it, 5 ways to cook a perfect steak at home, from grilling for that classic smoky flavor to pan searing for a crispy crust. We've explored broiling for a quick high-heat method and the sous vide method for precise temperature control. And let's not forget reverse searing for the best of both worlds. I encourage you to try these methods and discover your own steak cooking style. Remember, the perfect steak is one that's cooked just the way you like it. Happy cooking!